Hey, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started today. Before we start, we will do a little bit of kneeling and a little bit of sitting on the mat. So if you need a little bolster or towel roll or something to make that more comfortable for you, make sure you have that. And then let's start with forward bend. And then we're going to check our thoracic spine rotation, and then we'll check those things at the end. So for the forward bend, you're just going to be standing with knees straight but not locked. And just go ahead and look down towards the floor and see how far down you go. Kind of check with your fingers. You might touch the front of your shins with your fingers, or maybe to the floor. Just notice how far you get with that, maybe how it feels in your back, how it feels in your hamstrings. So make a little note of that. And then let's come on to hands and knees. And we're going to take one arm and reach it up towards the ceiling. And kind of notice how far we can go with that. And then check the other side. I'm a lot tighter in one direction. You might find that too. Okay, so that's our quick little pre-test. If there's anything else that you've been noticing, you can check that as well. And then we're going to start on our back today. Nice and easy. This is my favorite place to exercise. And we'll be doing a little bit of warm-up for our rib cage, diaphragm, getting a little bit more mobility through there so the rest of the flow is easier for us. So you're going to be on your mat with your legs bent. Let me just check in. Can you hear me, Morgan? Is it good? Okay. Legs are bent. And in this position, I just want you to kind of notice which parts of your back or bottom are touching the mat. So the floor is kind of like a nice biofeedback tool here. So you might just notice the back of your head, how much of your neck is off of the mat, how much of your low back. Is a lot of your body in contact with the mat, or just kind of a few small areas. So we'll notice that. And then I want you to take your hands, place them on the side of your rib cage. As much as you can, kind of on the side, so you can feel breathing coming into that lateral costal area or side of the ribs. And I want you to take a deep breath in slowly and notice as you do that, the movement side to side. So try that a few times. You might play around with your hand position. If your wrists are tight, you could try just doing one at a time. Cross your arm over. Feel how that side moves. Feel how the other side moves. And then I want you to choose whichever side you feel like moves less, or feels a little tighter, or feels more restricted to you. So if it's the left side, then you're going to use your right hand. And if it's the right side, you're going to use your left hand. And we're going to take our opposite hand, and we're just going to find that inferior or bottom edge of the rib cage. And we're just going to start gently kind of sinking into that skin and tissue there and gliding down the border. And as you're doing that, you're kind of feeling and noticing maybe any tighter spots, any spots where you feel like you're sinking in, and then all of a sudden you kind of pop out over a little mogul or something. And then I want you to take the hand and come over more to the side of the ribs. It's going to be a little bit hard for your t-shirt or sports bra. You might even be able to stick your fingers down under, especially a lot of times under where the bra strap would be or under where the sports bra would be if you have enough space. See if you can wiggle your fingers in between two ribs. And you might just feel along there and kind of feel, sometimes there will be two ribs with a little more space. It's really easy to wiggle your finger under there. And you might find two that feel really close together. It's harder to wiggle your finger over there. And then just glide along that angle towards the floor. Eventually you'll kind of run into the lats, so serratus anterior. But you're just kind of along the side of the ribs, sort of gliding that tissue along the edge of your rib cage towards the floor. If you wanted to increase the stretch, you could let your knees kind of fall to the other side and feel that kind of stretch tissue under your fingers a little bit more. So we're working on freeing up a lot of the fascia over on the side of the rib cage, which tends to get really sticky and makes it harder to get our deep breath in. Good. Now I want you to take the hand, the arm on that side that you've been working on, and kind of put it up at a right angle, like you were raising your hand with a question. And with your hand in this position, see if you can glide the hand towards the wall behind you and glide it back down. So you're raising your hand higher for the question and back down. And as you raise it up, notice if there's a place where your elbow starts to come up off the floor. Or maybe you feel some tightness come into the pec region or chest region or under your armpit. And then use your hand to sort of massage along an angle of that chest up towards the arm as you're kind of gliding it up and down. So the massaging hand is just kind of going along these fibers from mid-chest out towards the shoulder as you're moving that arm up and down. Don't let the shoulder pinch or anything. Adjust it so it feels comfortable. Good. And now just notice, does your elbow stay down on the ground a little bit longer as you keep that arm up? Very good. Okay. We're going to work through the other side, but we're going to go a little bit faster. So we're coming back to the bottom border of the ribs, gliding along them, noticing any tight spots. Good. Then we're coming along the side of the ribs and kind of feeling in between those ribs, seeing if we can glide our finger in between the ribs down towards the floor. You can add a little lower body rotation, letting the knees fall across to the other side as you glide your hand towards the floor. Nice. And now that arm is up in that right angle, and you're gliding it up over your head, noticing where your elbow starts to come off the floor. And using your free hand to kind of massage that pec muscle, going from the chest up towards the shoulder on an angle. Kind of gliding the arm as you do that. Nice. Now let's bring our hands back to our ribs. And take a nice slow breath in again. and then exhale. Hopefully that feels a little easier, or like it goes a little bit further, a little less tightness, maybe less effort. We're going to work on one more thing here. I want you to come down to your pelvis, and we're going to imagine a clock down here. So you've got 12 at the top, 6 at the bottom. And everything is going to stay on the mat, but you're just going to tip your pelvis up to 12. So this is kind of like you're tucking your tailbone gently, back is flattening gently, and then you're going to rock the opposite way down to 6. So your back is arching a little bit and you're rolling towards the tailbone. Then we're coming back up. And coming back down. Good. Now I want you to take your hands and gently place them on your belly. So you're in between the pelvis and the rib cage, and you're just kind of holding your belly like Santa Claus was. He was proud of it, okay? And just really gently kind of push your belly a little bit down towards 6. Slide it up towards 12 a little bit. And just notice, does it feel easier one way than the other? If you have any abdominal surgeries or scar tissue, you might notice this, especially going from 6 up to 12. You might have some kind of C-section scar. You do this in any direction on the clock. But now I want you to pick whichever direction felt a little tighter and very gently kind of scoop the belly away from that direction. And then while you're kind of holding that really gentle tension, rock your pelvis 12 to 6. And just notice you get kind of a little gentle stretch. Maybe if you have tension at the bottom, when you come up to 12, you can gently pull a little bit more, and as you rock down to 6, get a little bit of a stretch there. Very good. Okay, let's move into our first apnea. So we've got all this area kind of moving nicely. The abdomen is moving nicely for the vacuum. The ribs are moving nicely to create the lifting and the suction. I want you to take one hand and place it on the side of your ribs, and one hand and place it on the belly. And we're going to do 3 breaths in, and then we'll compare the apnea and create the abdominal vacuum. What I want you to be kind of noticing is, as you're breathing in, do you feel that hand on the ribs gliding out to the side, kind of like an umbrella is lifting it up? And as you exhale, imagine blowing the air out from the bottom of your belly up. So let's breathe in for 4 and out for 5. Breathing in. And out. Breathing in. So as you're breathing in, if you're getting good rib cage expansion out to the side, you may not feel a lot of belly rising. It's going to be a little bit different from belly breathing, where that belly rises and falls a lot. And exhaling from the bottom up, you shouldn't be getting a lot of crunching or tightening through your abdomen either. Let's do our last breath, breathing in. Exhaling, gently blowing the air out slowly from the bottom up. At the bottom, prepare the apnea, hold your breath, close nose, throat, and glottis. Imagine you're swallowing if that helps, and then lift the ribs for the false breath. Abdominal vacuum. Keep lifting if you can. Breathe in and then exhale.
How was that, Morgan? Good. Okay.
Okay. We're going to move into Demeter. But I want you to just notice, we've been here for a little while, we've been massaging, we've been moving. How much of your back is in contact with the floor now? And you feel more of the mat in more places on your back than you did before we kind of started moving around. Hopefully you can. Okay, Demeter. So let's take feet are hip distance apart. And we're going to take our knees out a little bit further. 45-degree bend. Dorsiflex the toes. So feet and ankle are pulling up towards you and you're pressing actively through the heels, but they're not going anywhere. So you're creating a little tension on the mat there. Let's start with our arms down in low Venus. Let's do palms down for this. And we're going to do, imagine you're reaching those fingertips away from you. And you're gently kind of nodding your head. So you feel a little bit of length coming through the crown of your head in an opposite direction from the heels. And then breathing in, 2, 3, 4, exhaling. On the exhale, you're checking in, you're reaching, you're growing taller from head to heel and fingertips away from each other. Breathing in. And exhale. Last breath in. Exhale, gently blowing out at the bottom. Here the Athena, lift to the back. Breathing in and exhale. Very good. We're going to learn Selene today. So you're going to take your feet a little further away from you. And you're going to cross the right leg over the left. Your legs and feet have just a little bit of a bend in it. So they're not totally straight. And you're kind of zipping your thighs together. And the outside of the feet are now in contact with each other. And you're kind of dorsiflexing the feet and pressing the sides against each other. Come back up to low back and check that you can still keep a neutral pelvis position even though your legs have come out a little bit further. So if you feel like you're really getting arched up, just put a little more bend in your knee. Bring the hands over your face and you're going to be looking at the back of the right palm. So the palm of the right hand is touching the back of the left hand. So we're making a circle over our face like an O. And I want you to press the palms together and create a tension like you were trying to pull them apart. So your feet are pressing together and your hands are pressing out against each other. Shoulders are away from your ears. And we're breathing in. And exhaling. Breathing in. And on the exhale, take the arms slowly up over your head. So you're framing your face. Only go as far as you can without shoulder pinching or your rib cage getting arched up. So you're trying to keep that back in contact with the floor. We're breathing in. ready to prepare the apnea at the bottom of this breath. Hold your breath and lift the ribs. Keep lifting, pulling the hands against each other to help get the ribs more open. Take a breath in and exhale. Slowly bring the arms back towards the middle, facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to uncross our legs. Cross the left one over now. Dorsiflex the feet. Press the outside of the feet together, thighs together, and switch your hands. So now you're looking at the back of your left hand. Check in with your neutral pelvic position. Pull the hands apart against each other. Breathing in. And exhale. Remember, gliding those shoulders away from your ears. Breathing in. Exhale, slowly take the arms up over your head, framing your face, keeping your ribcage in contact with the floor. Breathing in. Last breath here, exhaling. Prepare the apnea, lift the ribs. Breathing in and exhaling, bringing the arms back up towards the ceiling. Very good. Slide your heels back up so you're back in hook line. And we're going to roll onto our side. Good. And then pressing up, we're going to come up to hands and knees. Good. Okay, let's just round here a little bit up into cow, cat, whichever one it is. Dropping down, allowing the belly to sag down, allowing the trunk to drop between the shoulder blades, and then rounding up. Good. And now we're going to kind of free up the feet a little bit. So tuck your toes. And then with your arms, press your bottom back actively and kind of get a little stretch into the bottom of the feet. And then use the arms to actively pull you back forward. Get a little stretch into the wrists. So we're pushing actively with the arms. Press back. Stretching out feet and ankles. And then pulling forward to stretch out the wrists a little bit. If you're having some wrist discomfort, you can put something under the hands to decrease the angle there. And you can also put something under your knees. We're going to do a couple of poses here on hands and knees. So we're starting with Gaia. So in Gaia, we've got our toes curled. We're pointing our fingers towards each other. So our arms are in this Athena position. And you're pressing your hands into the mat, and as if you're gliding them away, like you're spreading the mat. Shoulders are away from the ears. So this activates all the shoulder girdle musculature, and it helps you increase your breath into the sides. You're a little bit actively pushing through the feet as if you were going to float your knees up just a little bit. And then in this position, we can really breathe into the ribcage in a big circle, 360 degrees. So breathing in. And exhale. Good. Breathing in again. And then on the exhale, you're going to start reaching the crown of your head towards the floor, keeping the space between your chin and your chest. And keep taking just the head down until you're looking more towards your belly. The rest of the back is staying flat. And then breathing in. And exhale. Growing, letting that neck get longer. Keeping the space. Last breath in. And exhale. At the bottom, prepare the apnea, lift the ribs. Keep opening, creating more space between the ribs and the pelvis. Breathing in, and then exhale. Good. Now we're going to come down onto our forearms. This would be Maya. We're going to skip Maya and go into Isis triangle. So we're going to take your hands and create a triangle on the mat with your elbows out on the mat. If this is too hard on your shoulders, stay here in Maya on your forearms. So you're pressing actively through those elbows, shoulder girdle is active, and your forehead is just resting, really without even any pressure in that triangle. You're actively kind of pushing through those feet. Okay, this is really nice. We're getting the pressure of the belly really off the pelvic floor here. And we're breathing in. And exhale. Breathing in. Exhale, growing long from the tailbone to the crown of the head, pushing through those arms. This is a lot of work for the arms. Last breath in. And exhale. Hold your breath. Create the apnea. Breathing in, exhale, good. Untuck the toes, press up. You can press back into child's pose. You can bring your arms a little down by your side. With the low back stretch and let the arms kind of rest there. Very good. Press up, so you're up into kneeling, and we are going to come up into standing now. So you may want to kneel, come into half kneeling, and press up. And we'll do just a little bit of an arm warm up. Not that they're not warm from that. And move into a little bit more of a flow. So let's go through Venus arm positions. Low, we're reaching out to the side, away from us. And remember, you don't have to be all the way back in line with your body. You can bring them forward just a little bit if this creates too much tension or backward bending. And let's just do a little bit of breathing in and taking them up to mid-Venus. Exhaling, turn the palm back and back down. And breathing in, coming up to high Venus. Exhale, turn the palms back and come back down. Let's do one more, breathing in. So as we're taking the arms up, we're keeping our trunk kind of in a neutral position. Exhaling. Bringing the arms back down. Very nice. Now let's come into mid-Athena. Remember, the palms are facing forward and they're as wide as the shoulders here. And you're gliding, you're pressing everything out away from you, like you're in a hula hoop and you're keeping that hula hoop open. We're going to breathe in and rotate that hula hoop up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, rotate the hula hoop down towards the floor. Then breathing in. Good. Exhale. Very good. Let's do one more. So we're pressing wide, breathing in. At the top, rotate the arms out to Venus. Exhale. Bring them back to Athena. Good. Take your arms down, give them a little shake. And now we're going to move into Venus and Athena. So, why don't you give me a side view here, Morgan? You already be doing that. So, feet are hip distance apart. This is a little more narrow than a lot of exercises that are more shoulder distance. So, hip distance apart, you can use your hand to kind of check the length of your hand is about how far you're going to have between your feet. Curl all the toes up and take your pinky. And then finally your big toe down. So you kind of spread your toes wide. Your foot is in contact with the floor. And you're going to soften your knees. Just not locked, not really bent, just a soft knee. Come up to the pelvis, do a little rocking. Tip it backwards, tip it forward. Find that neutral position. Tail feathers are kind of dropping gently towards the floor. And then stack your rib cage back on top. So we shouldn't be back here. And we also shouldn't be really lifted or arched. So that middle of the rib cage is stacked right on top of the pelvis. So when you have a side view, you can kind of check this in your camera. Head is coming up. Take your hand to the back, the occiput of your head, and just give it like a little lift, like you're trying to lift it up towards the ceiling without your chest coming up. Good. And then let's bring hands down into, let's do mid-Venus here. Unless this is too much tension, then take your arms down. Your eyes are gazing kind of straight forward. And then the last piece of this is you're going to hinge just at your ankle, shift your weight onto the ball of your foot just a little bit. And then breathe in. And exhale. On the exhale, you're keeping the space between the pelvis and the rib cage. You're staying tall and long. And then you're breathing in. Exhaling, slowly blowing the air out. Always checking in with your posture, arms growing wide. Last breath in. Exhaling. Close nose, throat, and glottis here. And lift to the back knee. Good. Take a breath in. Exhale. In this position, see if you can stay here. Bring the arms into mid-Athena. So we're pressing out wide. Everything else is the same. We're breathing in. And exhale. Breathing in. And out. Last breath in. Exhale, keep pressing wide through those arms. Hold your breath. Lift. Keep lifting, keep trying to open those ribs like an umbrella, growing space between the ribs and the pelvis. Take a breath in, exhale. Now bring your hands down to low Athena. So your thumbs are together with your fingers and they're right at your hip crease. And from here, you're going to just bend at the hip crease. Everything else is staying the same. So the back is staying flat. You're not sitting back. It's like you're at a railing and you're peering over the railing. So you should feel some activity through the back of your legs. You're standing up straight here. And we're really unloading the abdomen and the pelvis here in terms of pressure. You're still pressing the hands wide. Now your gaze is more towards the spot where the wall and the floor meet each other. This is Artemis. Breathing in. And exhaling. Breathing in. Exhale. Really good. Last breath in. Breathing in, opening the ribs. Exhaling, keep that pressure out through the palms, length through the spine. At the bottom, hold your breath. Create the vacuum. Breathing in and exhaling. Really good. From here, we're going to go into one that's even a little bit harder, and then it'll get easier after that. Okay, take one foot back behind you. Let's start with the right. So we're going to reach it behind us, kind of like you're going into a reverse lunge. That foot is staying right on the same line as it reaches behind you. And then we're going to drop the knee towards the floor. I want you to keep the knee up off of the floor if you can. If you need to drop it down, fine. Now, check in with your hips. This isn't yoga, so we're not letting the hip open up. We're keeping our headlights pointed forward. Feet are still in line, still pointed straight forward. And we're really working to keep that neutral spine, even though we've dropped down. Good. Okay. And equal weight through that front foot and the back foot. Let's come into mid Athena here. And we're going to breathe in. Exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. Last breath in. As you breathe in, take the right arm up, left arm down. Exhale here. So your hands are pressing in opposite directions. Hold your breath. Lift for the ab. Take a breath in. Good. Bring the hands back to the middle. Bring that foot back up. Good. Oh, super hard for me. Good job. Hopefully it's not as hard for you. And we're going to move into the other direction. So you took your right foot back. Now you're going to glide the left foot back. It's on the same line that it was, pointing forward, dropping the knee towards the floor. We're trying to create little squares here. So we're really working, pressing the hip forward to keep this neutral spine, dropping down, pelvis facing forward, not opening up. Arms in mid Athena, breathing in. Exhaling. In. On the exhale, let's move the arms. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Breathing in. Good. Exhale. Last breath here, pressing away through those arms. Hold your breath. Lift the ribs. Keep pulling. Pull through that front line and the hip up to the shoulder. Take a breath in. Arms come back to midline. Foot comes back to the center. Good. It's hard. I just want to stop. Okay. We get to sit down. So you may want to gently bend forward, let your knees bend. Come on, knees this way, or you can come down to half kneeling. You can cross your legs and then sit back on your bottom. This is where you may want your pillow, bolster, towel, depending on your hip mobility. We're moving into Hestia. So we'll I'll let you choose on this one. You can do cross-legged here, or you can bring the legs out in front, kind of like Demeter legs, pushing away from you. Okay, I'm gonna do the cross-legged version. In either position, your feet are dorsiflexed. If your legs are crossed, they're pressing kind of wide, like they're trying to open against each other. If they're in front of you, they're pushing away from you. And you're still working to keep your pelvis in a neutral position. So you shouldn't be arched forward, but you don't want your legs or hips pushing you back. If they're really rounding your back, you may need a taller bolster, or you could do this against the wall or a couch for a little support so that you don't get dumped here. You want to keep the space in the front of the abdomen so we have room for the breath and the apnea and growing tall through that lumbar spine. So feet are dorsiflexed, pressing out or wide. Let's bring the hands into low Athena, and we can contact our thighs here and press into them. And this creates a nice little, as you're widening your shoulders, gives you a little support for keeping your trunk lifted up and out of the pelvis. Breathing in. And exhale. Breathing in. Exhaling, emptying from the bottom up, slowly letting the ribs come down. Last breath in. Exhale. Hold your breath. Lift for the vacuum. Breathing in, exhale, stay here. Let's do another breath, breathing in. On the exhale, bring your arms up to mid-Athena. See if you can keep the space through your waist without that support. Exhaling. Breathing in. On the exhale, take the arms up to high Athena, whatever you can get to. Last breath in here. Exhaling. Hold your breath. Hear the apnea. in. Exhale. Slowly bring the arms back down. Very good. You can bring your legs off to the side, off of your bolster. Take that bottom arm, lower yourself down like a mermaid. Roll onto your back. And you can let your legs relax or keep them up, whichever you prefer. You made it. Let's take our arms up overhead. Point our toes away from us. They're almost not be dispatched. See if you can make yourself really long. Fingertips, toes. Deep breath in. Exhaling. Good. Shaking everything out. And just coming to a resting position where you breathe quietly in a relaxed way here. For a little bit. We're just noticing our breath rising, falling. Not really special. Warmth and light down into your toes. Feeling that warmth spread up into the feet, arch the butt. Up into the calves and the shin. Feeling warm and unwinding, coming up through the knees and into the thighs. Up into your bottom and pelvis. And up. Belly. Kind of a warm, glowing light rising up into the lungs, into the heart. Up into the throat, out, shoulders, down to the elbow, all the way up to the fingertips, rising up to the ground, very grounded. When you're ready, open your eyes. Roll onto your side. If you want, come onto hands and knees. And check in again with your trunk rotation, taking one arm up towards the ceiling. Noticing how far you're able to rotate, what it feels like through your arm, your chest. Good. And then coming up to standing. Checking our forward bend. So down at the floor, rolling down, and noticing how it feels, where our arms get to. Hopefully enjoying that increased ease of movement.